Let's talk about pricing of video program in the programmatic environment. Where is that going, and how much of it is set and how much of it is in an open marketplace, or might it go to an open or will it not? So just kind of give us an overview there.
Right. I believe that because digital video is a very valuable and usually oversold asset for them, that dynamic pricing is less useful, right? That doesn't mean that programmatic selling is less useful. Programmatic selling, I think, still can offer a lot of benefits to publishers. Number one, it provides them with an efficient channel. The cost of sales is a lot lower. In the long run, that's going to be good for a publisher. And number two, publishers' clients are increasingly asking for programmatic access to even that premium inventory, right? So in the Netflix case, we heard about how much data Netflix is bringing to bear and how they're able to customize messages depending on the audience member that's out there. Well, in order for Netflix to be able to use that and leverage all that data to create more value for them, they need to have access, a different kind of access to that inventory than a typical direct sold IO would allow. What we see happening is that premium publishers are starting to open their digital video inventory programmatically, but they're often doing it with in a very different way, not in the open market. They're doing it with typically a private marketplace that allows for only an invited set of buyers, and with pricing that is either fixed or dynamic, but typically meets or exceeds what they would charge rate card for in their direct sales. And the reason for that is that it's the same inventory that they could sell directly at a very high sell-through rate, but they're actually offering additional functionality to buyers. They're allowing buyers to bring their own data and get more value from those impressions. So they feel like the pricing needs to be similar to or to exceed what they would normally sell it for in a non-programmatic way.
So let's get into the TV, linear TV. So we're going to be hearing from Rentrack and Freewheel and companies, Envision, companies that are really sort of on the bleeding edge of technology that you're working with partners. Give us an overview on where that's going, where Adapt TV could move into really affecting real-time or close to real-time programmatic TV buying in linear TV. Give us an update on that.
Sure. So first of all, there's two major dynamics in the market that are making, I think, programmatic TV interesting now, as opposed to a few years ago. One is the fact that the audience has fragmented across a much wider set of different networks than they had in the past. So in the past, you could still buy in a relatively small set of Nielsen rated networks and hit a broad target. At this point, when you want to hit your target, often that audience is fragmented across many networks, and you have to actually buy many more of them, some of which become very small, and it's hard to rate in terms of, or it's hard for Nielsen to rate with their panel. The second thing is that there's availability of new data in the marketplace. So over the last couple of years, a number of providers, including Rentrack you mentioned, but others including Kantar and Fourth Wall and some of the MSOs themselves have been collecting data from these set-top boxes and aggregating it together and making it available for marketers and for technology providers like ourselves to help buy that television or find those audiences more effectively. So we're doing a couple of things. First and foremost, we announced fairly recently that we are now providing a digital television programmatic buying platform. Sorry, let me correct that. We're providing a linear TV buying platform for the first time. And that platform allows marketers or agencies working with marketers to bring their data about households and about the household's purchase behavior, combine it with data from third parties about households, including demographic information, interest and psychographic information, and so on, and target linear TV spots in a way that is highly targeted and far more efficient at hitting those very specific audience targets. And that's something we're in market with now. We ran our first couple of campaigns at the end of 2013, and this year we actually see the linear TV business starting to ramp really quite nicely.
Hey, could you explain that a little bit more? I don't know if you can get into the client, into the participants, but just kind of sketch out what that means,
Sure.
what the test meant, and where things are going in terms of this.
Sure. So first of all, we contracted with a number of data providers to bring data on board. Second of all, we contracted with a number of inventory providers to get linear TV spot inventory into our system. And then when a brand or agency comes with a campaign, what we're able to do is, using the tools that we've built, very, very quickly find schedules on particular networks and day parts and days of the week and so on that are indexed very, very highly for specific audience targets. And we enable marketers then to not just identify those like you would do in a planning tool, but also to immediately buy those that inventory programmatically. And that's, I think, there's really two big pieces of value that we're bringing. One is the ability to identify specific TV spots that index very highly for very specific audiences, not broad age and sex demographics, but very specific behavioral targets. And number two, be able to purchase them programmatically using a system. So not to have to pick up the phone with a bank of media buyers and negotiate in a manual way, but to buy that inventory in an automated way. And that actually
is it real time or is it?
So there's TV in general is not real time, right? So there aren't any TV buying services. In fact, the machinery doesn't exist on the sell side for that TV to be bought in real time. That said, that we are buying it in as close to real time as possible. So typically that means networks tend to run their schedules every day. They generally run it the night before for the following day, and in some cases, schedules are run several days in advance. So we're able to place orders in a way that is very, very close to the airtime, but usually not real time. But the way that we're doing this, I think, is certainly more programmatic and closer to real time than television buying has typically been done.